In the small town of Willow Creek, life was slow, familiar, and safe. At least that's what everyone believed. Claire Henson, a 32-year-old nurse at the local clinic, was the kind of person people remembered for her kindness. She stayed late to comfort patients, dropped groceries off for elderly neighbors, and volunteered at church drives. That's why, when she failed to show up for her Saturday morning shift, alarm bells rang instantly. Claire was punctual to a fault. Her car was found parked neatly outside her small cottage, keys still on the counter, her phone on the charger. But Claire herself was gone. Investigators first suspected a random act of violence. Perhaps she'd been abducted while jogging on the quiet country road behind her home. Flyers went up, search parties combed the woods, and news stations covered the story with growing urgency. Willow Creek was on edge. Nothing like this had ever happened there. But as detectives dug deeper, inconsistencies surfaced. Claire's laptop showed late-night searches for starting over in another state and protecting yourself from someone you know. It was clear she'd been worried, and not about strangers. Claire's seemingly perfect life had cracks. Interviews with coworkers revealed she'd been distracted for months. She had confided to one close friend that she was seeing someone secretly, a relationship she feared people would judge. At first, investigators suspected a married man. Then, attention shifted closer to home. Her neighbor, Daniel Pierce, was a widower in his 40s. Friendly, helpful, always around when Claire needed something. Too helpful, perhaps. Neighbors mentioned he often lingered near her porch, bringing over small gifts, sometimes late at night. Claire had once told a colleague she felt smothered by him, though she never made a formal complaint. Detectives questioned Daniel, who denied everything. But surveillance footage from a nearby gas station told a different story. On the night Claire vanished, his truck was caught heading toward her cottage at 2:13 a.m. and not returning until nearly dawn. A deeper search of his home unearthed something chilling. A box under his bed filled with personal items of Claire's. Photographs, a hairbrush, even receipts she had thrown away. It was obsession disguised as neighborly kindness. Weeks later, Claire's body was found buried in a shallow grave near the old quarry on the edge of town. She had been strangled. Investigators concluded Daniel confronted her after she rejected his advances once again. What began as fixation turned violent when Claire stood her ground. The town that once trusted Daniel as the helpful neighbor was shattered. His trial became a grim reminder that evil often hides in plain sight, wearing a familiar smile. At her memorial, hundreds gathered with candles, singing hymns that echoed down Willow Creek's narrow streets. Claire's story became more than a crime. It was a cautionary tale about listening when someone says they feel unsafe, even in the smallest towns. The case left a scar on Willow Creek, but also a vow among its people: never again to mistake obsession for affection or silence for safety.